have to have money to make money, and that there's an extraordinary level of sacrifice on the road to success. So how is it that investors like us who didn't start out with much money and who don't rely on banks and credit, how is it that we can increase our income and build our wealth in a way that doesn't require us replacing one full-time job with another while still enjoying the things in life that matter most to us? That has always been the big question, and this podcast reveals the answers. I am Carrie Like, and this is the Investor Warrior. Hey Warriors, and welcome to today's episode. This is a live stream today, so if you're not on the podcast and you're actually with us here live, it is open for comments, questions, because today I have on a rock star marketer, Jennifer Filzen. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming on the show today. I love your energy. It's interesting, I don't get a lot of women on the show, and there are so many amazing women in the real estate space and the marketing space, so I'm just so excited to have you on.
Likewise, and as a marketer, let me tell you that your intro video is one of the best I have ever seen.
Thank
so
you.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's a big deal. I'm like, dang, she's a badass.
My husband and I went to the park one day and we just put a bunch of clips together, and then it just kind of came together. It was like perfect weather, perfect everything. So, but thank you. I appreciate that.
No, truly, you are remarkable in what you're doing, and I'm just so proud to be here. And Pablo Gonzalez put us together, and any friend of Pablo's is a friend of mine. So truly, this is going to be fun.
Absolutely. And so I guess let's just start with your Investor Warrior story, because you have an interesting story. You've done some really amazing, different, unique things. So I want to start there. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing in real estate. And then we want to get into marketing, because I'm sure a lot of people will have questions on the marketing.
Thank you. Oh gosh, there's so much to talk about. Okay. So first off, I want to just say I'm your average girl. I'm nobody special. Grew up in Florida, 5th generation Floridian, born in 1970. I wanted to be a rock star when I was a little girl, age 6. Had no idea how I was going to do it because, of course, the internet did not exist. And if you wanted to be a rock star, you pretty much had to go to New York, or you had to go to California and be discovered and all that whole thing, right? So I grew up in a musical family in Orange Park, Florida, which is a suburb of Jacksonville. And great parents, middle class. My father was always an electrician, electrical contractor. Mother stayed at home, also did part-time work, and then eventually they would have their own little electrical contracting business in Orange Park. And I'm going into this because I really want people to understand that I'm just your average girl. Nothing too exciting. But I guess what makes me different is I am fearless in pursuit of what it is that I want to do. And the fuel that seems to always keep the fire under my belly is, Jenny, you can't do that. You're a girl. Oh, watch me. So anytime somebody has told me that, it's like, all right, watch me. So it's kind of fun that, we tend to look at these things. And today I'm 50 years old and like, okay, I'm looking at my history. I'm like, yeah, I've done some pretty cool stuff, because I don't want to live a life with regret, Carrie. I don't. Yeah. I want to make sure that I truly live life to the fullest. And I say this, and today is a special day because a very dear friend of mine, she's not expected to make it through the rest of the day due to stage 4 lung cancer. This is a woman who is a health nut. This is a woman who doesn't eat sugar. She does everything right. She doesn't smoke. How did she get stage 4 lung cancer and learn it only 2 weeks ago, and now she's on death's door? Wow. And I say that not to get depressing, but I say that because, Carrie, honey, we have no guarantees.
Yeah.
We have no guarantees, and I want to make sure that I have lived my best life. I have my shitty days, don't get me wrong, right? But if I don't go for it, if I don't implement and do and take action, I am going to live with regret. And I don't want to be on my deathbed regretting. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I have gone from, I guess, in some people's eyes, average to extraordinary, because it's just like, I'm just going to use this body up and make sure that I live life, you know, with the gas pedal pressed all the way down to the floor.
Well, first of all, I mean, I love you're an average girl doing extraordinary things, which just makes you extraordinary, first of all. Second of all, I'm so sorry about your friend. And when these things happen, especially when they happen unexpectedly, it does make you step back and really think about life and about are you living your fullest here on earth? And it's interesting. My husband and I just were having this conversation the other day as we were pulling into our neighborhood, and we were talking about a few things that we want to do this year. And I questioned something. I said, do we really have the time to do that? And he said, do you want to live or do you want to just exist?
Ooh, good one.
Because so many people are just existing and not living. And there's a huge difference between the two.
Right. And you're so absolutely right. And that's why I love that you call us warriors, right? Because, you know, it's do you want to take action? Do you want to move forward? You know, what's interesting too, as we get older, we tend to get more, I don't want to use the word complacent, but comfort. Like we don't keep pushing. Like there are a lot of people that I know that when they get older, they stop pushing past their comfort zones. They stop pushing past the boundaries. And I want to make sure that I am always testing, pushing, growing, because the second that I stop learning, guess what? I am irrelevant in my marketing business, because marketing, for example, changes constantly. Oh my gosh, there's always something new, something cool, something different that I have to keep abreast of. And if I don't, you know, I tell my clients this, you know, the minute I stop growing, fire me, because I'm not serving you. Yeah. And it is like drinking from a fire hose all the time, right? Like podcasting, gosh, back when I was promoting my music back in 2007 with my first album, 2009 with my second album, I was doing podcasting back then because it was like the new thing, but it didn't reach to a level. It was still in its origins. It wasn't to the level that it is now. I mean, now you have to really be on it all the time. When I was doing it in 2007 through 2009, hardly anyone was there. So it was easier to get discovered, right? That's why Clubhouse is taking off. It's a new thing. So people are shooting to the top because it's like, okay, great. It's not overcrowded yet. And it's just the constant push. And so that's why I'm so thrilled to be with you, because you're so cool. And then like what you're doing is you're educating people. You're making it easy for them to take action and not feel afraid. So kudos to you.
So I want to go back to something you just said. So you wanted to be a rock star when you were a little girl. That was your envision. And you just said you actually recorded some music. So let me hear about that journey, because it sounds like from the start you knew what you wanted and you went for it. And it's interesting because I was also just having this conversation with my husband. We were talking about one of our older children and how, you know, does he know what he wants to do in life? He's 17. And, you know, he's still figuring it out. But my husband said, well, it seems like you always knew what you wanted to do. And I said, yeah, from I was a sophomore in high school, I knew what I wanted to do. And I went to school and I got my degree in that and I did it. And then I realized that wasn't what I was wanting to do. And then I thought, okay, real estate. But every time I knew what I wanted or thought I wanted, I went and got it.
Me too.
And it sounds like with you, it's crazy. You wanted to be a rock star. And it sounds like you became a rock star. So let me hear about that.
And Carrie, I'm just like you. I've gone for it. And there have been times where I'm like, this isn't for me. But hey, at least I went for it. And then it took me on another trajectory. So we think the path is going to go straight. Oh, heck no. It's very circuitous. It's very strange and interesting how okay. So here's the rock star story. It's so funny. It's just so bizarre. Okay. Let's give you some background. So I sign up for chorus when I'm in 7th grade, middle school, and I find that I love it. And I am in chorus from middle school to high school. There was a time in high school, though, where I dropped out of chorus because I needed to focus on my grades, and I was just having a little too much fun with all my friends. So 10th grade, I really got serious about my education and went from being a C and D student to an A student. That was one of those things. Again, it was one of those, you can't do that. Oh yeah. Okay. Watch me. So, so anyway, I would end up getting a vocal scholarship for my first 2 years of college, Florida Community College at Jacksonville. I think it has a new name, but anyway, it was the community college over there. And so I got, part of my education done on that. And then, so I would study opera and classical music. And that's a little hard to like break into the rock star world if you're trained that way. But, okay, it's not exactly the genre you want to be doing, Broadway hits, that kind of thing. It's not like different. And then later on, I would move out to California after getting after a while getting my master's degree. That's right. Yeah, I ran out of money, decided it was like, okay, should I move to California and be with the guy that I want to date? Or should I move back home with my parents? Let's go to California and be with the guy that I want to date. And then I moved to California. It was San Leandro, San Francisco area. So San Francisco Bay Area. And the relationship didn't last, but my love affair with California started. And I've been out here since 1993. So I came out when I was age 22, hadn't turned 23 yet, and discovered that, California. So then I would eventually meet another guy, get married to him, go through a divorce in 2006. And finally, and by the way, I had taken some time. I've had this love-hate relationship with music. I've been on again, off again, on again, off again. So over the years, I kept singing and then I'd stop. Then I'd sing and then I'd stop. Self-critical, like perfectionist, like never good enough. Yeah. So 2006, I'm going through this divorce. I have got a lot of emotions going on, Carrie, a lot of emotions. And I remembered seeing my doctor and she said, would you like me to prescribe you medicine to kind of even out your highs and lows? And I said, no, I think I need to feel all of these highs and lows. Yeah. And I'm going to use my own creativity as my therapy. Good for you. I started writing poetry for the first time. And because I'm in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley area, working in the high tech world, I'm, on Craigslist and I'm looking for a guitarist and I find that guitarist. This is before Craigslist got weird. This is when, this is 2006, 2007, actually, 2006, 2007, when things were still cool. You could find really amazing people on Craigslist to do collaborative work with. Now we would call that Clubhouse or we would call that, TikTok. But back then, Craigslist was where you found your guitarist. Yeah. And then I would find my producer and I would find, all kinds of other talent to help me create my very first album in 2007. So anyway, so I'm in the process with this first album. We create it. It's a true joy. I get to be creative. Now, Carrie, it's something you should know about me. I actually don't like to perform in front of people. Mm-hmm. But I love to create, and making music videos is super fun because, and making an album is fun because, you hit the button over and over again and it's perfect. It's been edited. I don't have to worry about cracking up or getting scared or whatever. So woo, put me in front of a camera. I'm cool. But make me do this live. Oh, hell no. So I'm totally a do-it-yourselfer. And I'm taking my marketing expertise and I'm going on to a brand new thing called MySpace. Remember that?
MySpace. Yeah.
Yeah. MySpace was the thing back then. And this brand new platform that had just been released to the public called Facebook. And another new platform that was new, Twitter, just been released to the masses. So we've created this album, we're promoting it. And my guitarist is like, hey, I know somebody who's part of the Grammys. Can I submit our music to be, to the Grammys? I'm like, whatever. Sure. Okay. As if. Well, then months later, he was like, Jen, are you sitting down? He's calling me. Are you sitting down? I'm like, yeah, what? He goes, well, you qualified for 10 Grammy nominations with the first album. I'm like, what?
Wow.
What? Like, am I rich? Like, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean? Honestly, Carrie, it didn't mean anything, but it still means something. Let me explain. What I didn't know the whole process. I just heard Grammy nominated, and I'm just like, wow! So the marketer in me is like, oh my God, I'm Grammy nominated. Oh my God. Like, I'm telling the world, I'm Grammy nominated. Woo, woo, woo. I didn't know shit. I didn't know how. I didn't know. I was like, did I get struck by lightning? Wow. So really what happened is that when you submit your music to the Grammys, there are different tiers. It's like, think of it like a dance contest or something. Like there's the prelims, and then there's the finals, and then there's the winner. And I thought that me being in the prelims, I could call myself Grammy nominated, but apparently that's Grammy qualified. It's when you're in the top 5, that's when you can count it as Grammy nominated. So anyway, I embarrassingly received a cease and desist letter from the attorneys, because I was mortified. I was like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. Have you ever done that? Like, please tell me your audience is like, I'm not alone, and like you're just going for it and you have no freaking clue what you're doing. And you're just like,
We're shooting before you aim.
Right? Totally. But you're so excited and you're in the moment and you're just, okay. So I genuinely thought that I was Grammy nominated, and it turns out I'm Grammy qualified. So legally, I am Grammy qualified, but you know what? I earned that. I earned it. So I thought, well, is this reproducible? Was I struck by lightning, or can I do this again? So I came out with my second album, and guess what? 8 Grammy qualifications. Yes,
Wow.
It is reproducible. Yes, it's because I'm a damn good marketer. Now, here's the funny punchline that I really want your audience to hear this. I really want people to understand how much of an average girl I am, okay? The money that funded it was from the sale of my house before the crash, thank God. Thank God, before the Great Recession fully hit the housing market. So I took money from the sale of the house, from the divorce. I got like $120,000 out of our $700,000 home. I was pissed because we bought the house before we got married. So I did not get the 50-50. I just got my percentage portion. But at the time I was upset. It's like, I only got 120,000. You know what? The fact that I got the sale of the house happening and the divorce happening before the crash, I'm lucky I got 120,000, because the recession, people lost a lot. So my timing was again, 2020 hindsight, you don't know, right? So anyway, I spent $60,000 on 2 albums, music videos, trying to get my music heard around the world, advertising, promoting. Like, I'm doing everything in my power to get my music heard, because I knew I could either show it off to friends and family or try to get a return on investment. Here's the punchline. Over 5 years, Carrie, 5 years, I made $1,400 back. Can we say shit ROI? Can we say embarrassing? Can we say I am a freaking failure? Right? Failure.
Yeah.
And I felt for 5 years, I am such a loser. I am such a loser. Why am I doing this? This is such a money pit. Like, blah, blah, blah. It was just like, I can't believe it. But I knew that I didn't want to live with regrets.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to do this for myself. I just had to. So finally, after 5 years, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm stopping this. The music is not producing anything. I'm bleeding money. Stop. But what happened, though, it was so miraculous. And again, you don't see it when you're in it. You see it later. I was establishing really incredible credentials as I started my rockstar marketing agency, showing people that, yes, I am a social media maven. I know what I'm doing with social media. Constant promotion of your business is what is necessary. And today I have a very, very successful marketing agency as a result. Another thing that happened that was really kind of cool is years later, I don't know, 2015 maybe, like about 5 or 6 years later. Yeah, something like that. I received a check. And I'm like, it was like a check for like $700 something.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this? Well, it turns out it was my royalty check. Apparently, one of my songs became a one-hit wonder in India, of all places. And it became, because long story there, I won't bore you. But the point is that I'm still collecting royalty checks off of my one-hit wonder. So yes, if this middle-class white woman from the suburbs with mediocre music talent, but damn good marketing skills can do it, you can too.
Could we just get like a 30-second clip of you singing this one-hit wonder? I would love to hear your voice, and I would love to hear like a 30-second.
Okay, done. All we have to do is...
I was also a chorus geek.
Oh, fabulous.
Vocal ensemble, but I was never going to go into the professional world. I was like, if you think you're mediocre, I was like way down past, like way down there on the scale of like mediocre to great. I just loved it. I loved singing, and I still love singing, and I'll sing to my kids all the time. So I get it.
Well, let me tell you how to find it. So the song is called What Have I Learned About Love? And the one-hit wonder portion of it, because I released my version, What Have I Learned About Love, off of the Sirena album, which was my first album. But what happened is that my producer had multiple artists underneath him. And one of them is Bohemia, who is the Punjabi gangster rapper. Now, to people who are not familiar with Indian music and Punjabi gangster rappers, he is the equivalent over in India to Eminem here.
Okay.
He's that kind of guy. He's that guy. So Bohemia is a very popular guy in India. And he's like, Jen, I really like this song. Can I remix it? I'm like, sure, it's cool. So he is rapping in Punjabi. I have no idea what he's saying, but you will hear me singing on the chorus, and it is my song. So we did a 50-50 split. It's really cool. So yeah, go to YouTube, everybody. Go to YouTube, look up Bohemia, Jennifer Filzen, What Have I Learned? You will find it. And it's a real bop. It's a bop. So
I love it. You never know what is going to come from the work that you put in.
You have no idea. Yeah.
So let's talk now about, well, you wrote this book, Give to Get, which I love the title of the book, The Give to Get Principle. And we talk a lot about this in real estate. And so I would love to discuss that book, and y'all need to go get Jennifer's book. Let's talk about the Give to Get principle. How did you come up with that? And
okay. So so this is my third book. I've written a few. They're all on Amazon. And by the way, I'm so proud. Amazon bestseller. Woo, woo. Yeah, baby. I'm so proud of that, because you know how hard that is? That's hard. That's hard. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about the rockstar stuff. So anyway, I have built this really awesome marketing agency. We focus on social media. We focus on SEO content. So really, storytelling is the best marketing, and we are the storytellers. Okay, so I don't really build the websites for my auto repair clients, but I'm big into cars. I love cars, Carrie. And so we are the top content marketing agency in the auto repair industry. It is an industry that I've laser focused on for the last 5 years, and we're the dominant. So we're opening up into other industries as well. But let's just say that I have written the stories on their websites for over 700 auto repair shops across the country. And I have this really awesome process that allows me to really get to know their story. And it's really simple. It's an interview, just like this. It's recorded. I have my entire Rockstar squad. We have a lovely interview with people, asking them, what makes you special and unique? Who do you serve? What is your why? I want to know what their why is. I want to know why they get out of bed every day. Because when I hear what their why is, it gives so much more joy.
Yeah.
there's everyone tells me, sorry, I'm lacking words here, but like everyone tells me the same thing in the first 45 minutes. I'm honest. We have integrity. We do it right the first time. Like everyone kind of says the same thing. But when they finally are able to like let their hair down and like get comfortable with us, they start saying, well, you know, the real thing that I'm motivated by is I really love to race cars. And so I got in this and I love racing cars and I want to start this nonprofit where we're helping disabled veterans race cars. Or, you know, Jen, I just really love my community and serving my community because we are first generation immigrants from Honduras. And we want to show people that we are here and we do more than just their auto repair. If they need services for, you know, finding out where to get money to pay rent or where to get food, or like we help them with that. Like I hear stories from every single shop owner about their why, and it inspires the crap out of me. So for years I've had these stories going through my head, and it wasn't until COVID that I finally gave birth to this book, because I figured out it was in my heart, but it was like, I don't have much time to do this. I'm so busy. Just like you and your husband. I don't have time. Yeah. Do you want to live? Okay, fine. So what I did was COVID hit. Everyone's having an oh shit moment. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Business is like shut. We're in lockdown in March of 2020. What do I do? What do I do? So I had some clients leave. They're like, I love you. I'll come back when things get better. But for right now, I've got families to feed. I'm like, gotcha. Good. Those that stayed with me, I was like, all right, we're in this together, and together we're stronger. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pool our resources. When someone comes together with an idea of an email to send out, I'm going to ask permission, and then we're going to share it with all of the clients. So everyone could so I was this channel, and we were giving away, Carrie, we were giving away graphics. We were giving away things like just to get us through the muck. Yeah. And then later on, everyone would have some of their best years. It was weird. It was the worst year in auto repair. It was also the best year in auto repair for a lot of these shops, because auto repair is a recession resistant industry, not recession proof, but recession resistant. And so we all made it. So what I did was I wrote this, and I kind of think of it in like two halves. The first half of the book is telling what everyone's secret sauce is. And the second half of the book is a workbook where it's like, all right, you want to create a tribe of raving fans? Do you want to have people just absolutely love you? Do you want to learn for yourself how to give lovingly and then receive in abundance? You don't go in and go, I'm going to give this just so she'll get, it's not like trying to date somebody. It's truly showing love by giving. And so if you want to have a bunch of raving fans, and this is great for anybody. It's not just for business owners. It's for anybody that works with clients. Anybody that works with clients can benefit from this, because like, think about it. Ice cream shops, when you go in, by the way, have you discovered Mayday ice cream in Jacksonville and St. Augustine? Oh,
no, but we have an amazing homemade ice cream shop here in Oviedo. Opened up like 2 years ago, and that place the line was out to the street the other night when we went.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about ice cream shops, because everyone can relate to this, right? Samples. When you go up and you're looking at that beautiful case of all these different ice creams, what do? You ask for a sample, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they give you a sample or several. And then what happens, right? You were originally going in there to get one scoop, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you come out with like 2 or 3 scoops.
Yeah, they've got like the small 1 scoop or the 2 where you can do 2 scoops, different flavors. Yeah, I usually do there. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, ooh, I tried this flavor and now I want both.
You decide.
Right? Okay, that is the exact description. That is exactly what I'm talking about in this give to get principle. They give, and then they've got this line out the door. Everyone loves them. They pour their love into their ice cream, right? And so everyone adores them, and they have a huge tribe of raving fans that will stand in line for their ice cream. Yeah, everyone's got to have that awesome ice cream shop, right? Now, what if the accountant said to them, no, 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 no. Stop giving out ice cream. This is cutting into our bottom line. That's money that we could be spending, that we can be, that's money that you're losing. That's money on the table. Let's use that extra ice cream that you're giving away to charge for that. What would that do to the line out the door?
Yeah. Yeah. Right? The line would go down and it would eliminate your upsell that naturally happens when you sample the ice cream, right?
Amen, sister. That is exactly right.
I'm a victim of the ice cream upsell. I mean, I'm an easy victim.
I know. We all love our ice cream. I had a Coke float yesterday. It was miraculous. I was just like, yes. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and it doesn't necessarily have to cost you anything. And this is, whether I'm promoting a book or not, I don't care. This is just like human nature. You can give a smile. You can give a smile to somebody. That's giving.
Yeah, this love can apply to anything, and especially can apply to real estate.
Yes.
And it's interesting again, and I'm gonna give you like a quick example of what just happened yesterday. My husband and I went to Office Max because we're going to be printing up some new letters for our direct mail marketing. So we wanted to test a couple of different sheets. We went in there. The sales associate was named Alexander, and I asked, is it Alexander or Alex? I said Alex. So I noticed that my husband kept referring him to him or he when he was talking to me because we were at the desk. And so when we walked out of there, I said, just one thing that I noticed, because I really try to be aware now when I go out into the public setting where someone else is working in the public setting and they're dealing with a lot of customers and interactions with different people, is you will get way more from that person when you give them the respect of calling them by their name, because they might deal with 100 customers that day. And only one person came in and said, oh, is it Alexander or do you go by Alex? And then I'm referring him to Alex. And my husband always says this. He says, people just love you. Like when you go out and they could be like the grouchiest salesperson in the world, but then they just like open up to you. And so I said yesterday, one of the reasons I think people generally enjoy my company, whether it's in public or in an intimate setting, is because I refer to them by their name and I look at them in the eye and I don't say he or her or sir or ma'am. I like really try to get to know their name. And I do that with sellers when I'm talking to them on the phone, and I do that with whoever. And it's the whole give to get principle. And I don't do it because I'm wanting to get something back, but I do get more back. I get a better attitude from them. I get a willingness to go above and beyond what they're going to go do for other customers. They're going to spend more time with me and it's going to be enjoyable. And then when I go back in there, because we're planning on using Alex now for our printing, well, guess what's going to happen? He's going to be like, Carrie, there's a promo going on. You're the first to know. Or, hey, I'm just going to add this in here for you because we love you.
Totally. Oh my God. That is gold. That is gold. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just little things, right? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just little things. And it's about being aware of just treating people as a person and with respect and having that integrity that you talk about. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, you're going to love this. So in my book, I talk about the 4 currencies. There's money, there's time, there's knowledge, and there's relationships. Mm-hmm. And in our culture, we focus so much on money.
Yeah.
Money is the big currency that we're all talking about. But time is definitely a currency. Do you want to exchange time with each other? That's a big deal. Do you want to take the time to grow your knowledge and study and become a better version of yourself? And then there's your relationships. In my book, I actually talk about how relationships are the number one currency. The number one currency, because in times of strife, like COVID or recession, or when you're battling cancer, or when you're frustrated that you're not getting your print job done, right? Like the relationships are the things that will bring you more money, will bring you more time, will bring you more knowledge.
I wish I had recorded the call yesterday, Jennifer, because I called a store yesterday because we're putting an outdoor kitchen outside in this new area.
Yes.
So we're looking for outdoor kitchens. So called the store to see kind of what they had before we make our way over there. And this is where salespeople get a bad rap. And I'm going to equate this also to real estate investors. Okay. It's when you're not giving and you're just trying to receive the whole time. And when I called him, I asked him a very specific question. And for 5 minutes, he went on about what they have and the quality of this and the quality of that. And they've got this and they've got that. And then when can you come in? And I'm like, well, hold on, wait a second. And it was just like, I swear, it was like for 5 minutes, just going on and on and on about how great they were, how great they were and how great their products were. And all I had asked was, I think I asked them, do you also sell fire pits? And he said, no, but, and then he went on and on and on. And I said, well, but you don't even know what I want yet. And he said, well, okay, well, tell me what you want. And I said, well, this is the size. Okay. And we're kind of looking for this and that. And so then he started to answer my questions. But I was immediately annoyed that first 5 minutes when he was just telling me about how great him and the store and the product was. And so if I'm a real estate investor and a seller calls me, a homeowner calls me about their home, and I'm like, hey, Jennifer, thanks for calling. Well, I did 100 sales this year and I purchased 200 homes just like yours. And this is, how our process works. And I'm going on and on and on about me and my process and my company. Well, some people will say, well, yeah, that's how you build rapport, right? As you build, like you tell them about you. No, not at first. My question is going to be, Jennifer, thank you so much for calling. Like, tell me a little bit about you and your situation and what's important to you and what are your goals, because I'm here to assist you in those goals. Like, they haven't heard anything about me or my company or what I do, because I am all about them in that first 5 minutes. And it was just the complete opposite when I called this guy. And I hung up the phone. I said, wish I had recorded that, because I would have played it on the podcast just to show people an example of what not to do, because I'm honestly considering going to this store now. I just don't even want to deal with you can just tell he's just trying to get the sale. He doesn't care what I need or want. He just wants the sale.
Yeah. Yeah. And you feel slimy. You feel like you need to take a shower. Same thing goes on with social media, right? Social media happens all the time. People will, again, I'm going to use auto repair. Okay, so the people who own the auto repair shops, they're all into auto repair. They want to show pictures of the guy working on the car. They want to show pictures of the parts that they're working on. They're into their projects and they're super proud of them. No problem. I get it. But who is your target demographic? Is it fellow technicians, or is it people who look like you and me? The ladies are the ones that are in the family that care the most about the cars being maintained. And they're not going to be turning those wrenches. They want to know that they can trust you and all that stuff. So there are all these pictures of and here's me with this part, and here's me with grease up to my elbows, and here's me. No. How about sharing life hacks about how to keep your car clean and organized when you've got 5 kids? How about some funny commercials about Prius or Ford or Hyundai? How about some education as to why your brakes are so important? Real estate, right? How about, okay, we're your property management company. Here are all the wonderful things that we're going to do to protect your property. Here are all the ways that we're going to eliminate your stress. Here are all the ways that we're going to have happy tenants. That is going to trip my trigger. Hello. In fact, oh my gosh. So I own 3 rental properties in Jacksonville. Every day, Carrie, every day I get some text or letter or message like, are you looking forward to selling your property?
Oh, this is interesting.
Do you want to sell your property? Screw you. But you know what? And I'm going to hold on to them forever, right? But you brought up a really good point. What are your goals for your property? If they started with a line of, hey, I see that you own this. What are your goals with this property?
Oh my God.
That's when I might actually say, I plan on holding on for it. But if they were polite enough I might actually consider them later, but I'm going to hold on to them forever. But yeah.
You're listening to this because there are so many people texting, calling, sending out letters to absentee owners right now. Jennifer, you are a perfect example of an absentee owner who is getting the texts, the calls, the letters that don't give you anything special, right? It's the same message. We buy houses cash, no commissions, we'll close quick.
Right.
How does that make you feel good about anything? Right?
It does not. It does not.
Message. And so what if, for instance, you got a letter from me with a picture of me and my family or me and my dog?
Dogs always sell, baby. Yeah.
Right? Right. And it said, hey, my name is Carrie. I create customized offers to fit your needs. I would love to know what your goals and objectives are for this home if you were ever to sell it in the future. And I would be honored to talk to you, and I will not waste your time. And please just give me a call whenever you are interested in selling this home versus, hey, we buy houses cash. Hey, give us a call because we don't charge any commissions or fees. Like, I know. I think so many real estate investors are taking the easy way right now. Yeah. And it's just about templates. Get the templates out there, get the mass marketing out there. And you know what? It's going to work for some people because it's a volume game. You have to put a lot of letters out there. But for me, this business is about relationships, right? You're for the part of the pillars that you talk about in the book. Mm-hmm. And relationships is probably one of the biggest. Mm-hmm. And to me, in this business, relationships is the biggest pillar of this business because relationships could give you, number one, a six-figure, deal over the course of years.
Totally.
Referrals, right? Referrals are the best marketing channels because as soon as I don't know about you, but when I get a referral, I don't usually call anyone else. They were referred. Right. That's good enough for me. Referrals from other people. You feel good about building those relationships. I mean, I have relationships with homeowners who they call me and they want to go, spend time RVing and they want to spend time with me talking about real estate and they want to, spend time with me about this and that. And I just bought their house one time. But they now have a relationship with me and I have a relationship with them. And I don't know if I'm going to get any more from that. But I honestly, truly enjoy the relationships that I have with my business partners and my contractors and my lenders and the homeowners that we work with.
Oh my gosh, you just reminded me of this great story. Okay. So I grew up in Florida, grew up in Orange Park, but my family my mom's side is from St. Augustine. And when I was a little girl, we had a beach cottage that my grandparents built. And around the corner from that, my great-grandmother lived in this house. And I'll never forget this house because when I was like 5, I think I was 4 or 5, I was running into the sunroom, like the little enclosed patio room, but it had a sliding glass door and I didn't see the glass. And I went, I smacked one of my kids and knocked out. I was knocked out. I'll never forget that house because of that situation.
That is the worst sound as a parent that you ever hear is when your kid smacks into the glass. It sounds like, your heart sinks.
That was me, 4 years old in my great grandmother's house. And around the corner was our beach cottage. So the beach cottage we sold when I was 9. And that is one of the reasons why I live here in Monterey, California, always ever seeking my beach cottage, because it was, at the time, it was a very wise decision for my family to sell it for various reasons. But at the time, as a 9-year-old, I was very upset that they were selling my house.
Right.
That was my house.
Yeah.
So anyway, a few years ago, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I saw something from my uncle on Facebook saying that the house, the great grandmother, the one I smacked my whole body into with the sliding glass door, that was for sale. So I was so curious. So I called the agent who was selling it. And I said, oh, what was really cool is the house really hadn't changed much. Like I'm looking in the MLS listings and I'm like, oh my God, it is the house. Oh my God. Right. So it like created this whole thing. So I talked with the agent and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my great grandmother's house. My grandparents built this, da, 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 da. And he's like, you want to buy it? I'm like, I would love to buy it. I can't right now, but I would love to buy it, but no. But it's nice to know you. Let's keep talking. So then later on, I would finally figure out where the beach cottage was. The beach cottage is so funny. It was so before like addresses. I would ask my grandmother, where was the beach cottage? And she's like, I don't know. We didn't have an addresses. It was like that early when Volano Beach was being developed. And so anyway, I finally found it. And I decided that I was going to ask that real estate agent to find out who the owner was so I could make connection. Mm-hmm. So I called that same real estate agent that had sold my great grandmother's house. I said, hey, here's the deal. It's this address. And I would love it if you could help me find out who the owner is because I want to make contact. Carrie, the guy never called me back. Never called me back. So guess what I did? I went ahead and I called up St. Johns County recording office, the clerks, and I figured out who it was. And this was January of this year. So I did it this year because I'm finally getting to the point where it's like, all right, I can handle this. So I sent off a certified letter in a nice large folder, a hard, not a folder, a hard envelope, envelope. Yeah. And I had pictures of me and the house from 1971. And I wrote this letter like, hi, I know that you are the owners of this home. And I recognize that this is probably your dream home. And that's fantastic. And I want you to enjoy it. I just wanted to introduce myself because my grandparents built this. My grandfather passed away while building it. I would love to own it someday. My request is if you would consider me the first right of refusal when you decide to sell it, that would be my goal. And here's my contact information. And here are some pictures. If you ever have any questions about the house, please let me know. And I certified mailed it because I wanted to make sure that it showed up and they received it. And interestingly enough, they're in Rhode Island, Carrie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I sent that out, and I was also since I was in the mood to do this, I live in Monterey in a rental. This is a house I have a duplex that I live in, and I've been here for 14 years. And the owners, I always talk to the owners. They were two brothers. One of them passed away, and I said to the second one, "Hey, I'm happy to buy it." He goes, "It's not a negotiable right now, but I wish you'd buy it. But it's part of the whole thing." So, anyway, he finally passed on a few years ago. And since I was sending out this other letter, I sent another letter to the owner of this one, and I said, "Hey, I've been here for 14 years. I don't know what your plans are. But whenever you decide to sell it, I would like the first right of refusal, please consider that." And interestingly enough, that letter came back. So then I went to my landlord, property management company. I said, "Could you please make sure that she receives this?" So anyway, that is, and who knows, Carrie, where that's going to go. Either it's going to end up famously awesome, or it's just a shot in the dark. But if you don't try, and if you don't have something personal to go along with it and form relationship, then you're gonna look like everybody else. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I can't tell you how many people have called me years later who kept the letter. Just like your story with the Bohemian Indian one-hit wonder. You just never know when it's gonna come back.
Right? It's so true. It's so true. And then here's another fun little thing that I really wanted to tell you, and I wanted to tell your audience. I'm really being vulnerable here, but that's okay. This is a vulnerable place, right? We can be safe in our vulnerability. When it was 2006, and I'm going through the divorce, and the sale of the house, and I'm losing a lot of money, and I'm struggling. And then we hit the recession. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life, and my savings was dwindling. And when I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but when you go through a divorce, oftentimes it takes a long time to rebuild what you had, right? It's like, if I had stayed married to my first husband, I would not be as happy as I am today. I'm married to the permanent husband, who's awesome, who I met in dance class, and we got married in the ballroom that we met in, and he's amazing, and it's the perfect marriage. I love being married to my permanent husband. You got to have the starter. It's like a house. You got to have the starter home to appreciate the dream home. You got to have the starter marriage to appreciate the dream marriage, right? But I was just kayaking in Monterey Bay just a couple weekends ago, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how long did it take me to rebuild, and where am I at now? And when you are investing, when you're building a business, when you're plodding along every single day, you're taking these baby steps. And you know how I said earlier, you don't realize what you've amassed until you look back and you're like, oh, right? So I figured out, Carrie, that I have $1 million in assets that I didn't even know about. Let me explain. So I own 3 properties in Jacksonville. They're not big ticket properties, but they're cash positive. And they're worth about $400,000, all 3 of them, worth about $400,000 altogether. I have Rockstar Marketing, and I would say that it's pretty stable, and it's gross. I'm not talking take home, but I'm saying gross revenue. It's about a $300,000 business, and we're going to be growing that over time, but about 300K. So we've got 700K so far. I'm looking at the stock market, all the stuff that I've invested. I'm around 250,000. So we're at like 950,000. And then I've got like $50,000 in cash savings that I'm saving actually to buy my grandmother's home when she passes. She's 97, and I hope she lasts to 107. But I want to buy her property because that's my grandma, So anyway, I calculated out. I'm like, oh my God, I have $1 million in assets. Like, what? Now, I don't feel rich, and these are just assets. It's not like this is liquid cash. This is not cash sitting in my bank account. This is just assets. But I'm like, oh my God, I've hit the $1 million mark, and I didn't even know about it. Like, I'm figuring this out. And I had to do the math like several times. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I calculate this right? Oh my God. And these are working assets, cash flow positive properties, cash flow positive business, cash flow positive stocks, because I get dividends, and cash. And I'm like, oh my God, I actually did it. And then I was like, well, hold up. You hear all these people on YouTube and Instagram and, all the places where they want to be seen, and they're young, and they're standing in front of a really fancy car, and they're like, I'm a millionaire. And it's just interesting because it always makes me wonder, and I'm just wanting to start the conversation with you. What does a millionaire really mean?
Right.
What does it really mean? Is it cash that you can sit and spend? Is it like, lottery winnings? Is it assets? Like, and $1 million isn't as much of a big deal as it was, 10, 20 years ago. But still, like, what does it mean to you? I'm kind of fascinated.
I think it can mean so many things. There's no answer to it.
Right. It could be anything. So it was just an interesting awareness, like, oh my God. Right. So
that's awesome. And congratulations. So many things here.
So much to unpack, right? Sorry.
You guys, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. You're just like, I'm so excited to have you here. And we talked a lot here. So many little golden nuggets. You guys make sure you go and get Jennifer's book. Where else can they find you, Jennifer, if they have questions or just want to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm always up for making friends. Honestly, I love making friends. So I think the easiest way to find me is jenniferfilzen.com. You'll see, in fact, I should have you on my show, Connecting with Jennifer Filzen.
I would be honored.
That would be super fun. And my husband and I also have a little show called Marriage Plus Business, because we work together and we love each other and we live together. Like, we still like each other at the end.
I work with my husband also.
Yes, it'd be so much fun to have you and your hubby on the Marriage Plus Business show.
Yeah, we'd love to.
And these were all born out of COVID, by the way. We were bored. You know, I'm a social animal, but like, we're all in lockdown. So, hey, video conference calls. Hey, interviews. Awesome. So anyway, go to jenniferfilzen.com. You'll see links to this book, but you can go onto Amazon, Jennifer Filzen, The Give to Get Principle. You'll find my other books as well. What dancing taught me about running a successful business and how to make your dance business profitable. I like writing management books. I don't know. It's kind of boring to some people, but I'm fascinated by it. You'll also see some of our dance videos. When I wrote the book, What Dancing Taught Me About Running a Successful Business, I thought it would be super fun to like show a dance concept and then like talk about how it applies to business, because dancing and business really have a lot. Clarity, confidence, certainty. Those are all things that you need in dance, and that's what you need in sales. Teamwork, timing, technique. That's what you do to win a dance contest, but it's also what you do to have a winning business. So yeah, I'm all over the place, Carrie. Like, I cannot sit down and just focus on one thing. All I can say is I love to be creative, and I know that it's my purpose to create a ripple effect of joy that touches millions of people. And I think it's through all the crazy stuff that I do. So thank you for allowing me to be my authentic, crazy self on your show.
Because I like crazy. So thank you for bringing your craziness on here. You guys, thank you for hanging out with us today with me and Jennifer. And I hope you got lots of value out of it. I know I did. I'm inspired by you, Jennifer. And I hope that, yeah, let's keep connecting. I think I could have you on here to just talk more about
I know, right? So much.
And being a woman in business, we didn't even touch on that really. So we're going to have some follow-up conversations here. But thank you again for coming on. I'm grateful.
Thank you, truly. And everybody, you guys should love Carrie. So, you know, like and subscribe. That was fun.
All right, y'all. I will see you on the next episode. And remember, you are only one deal away.